action. So football remains on hiatus around the globe, but it doesn't mean we can't talk about it. And today we're going to take a second look, of course, you know what I'm talking about, at a look at the goalkeepers. We're going to take a look at all 24 number ones and rank them from tip of the top to mediocre and to absolute gash. And again, for those who were there earlier, we're not going to be live though. We're going to be doing it right here, right now. So let's go. That's right, folks, back once again with another tier maker video. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. This time we're taking a look at the old championship, and again, we're going to take a look at the old goalkeepers, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, world football related, all here under one roof. That's right, and unfortunately we're not live because I just don't know what went on, folks, when we tried to do this live. It was a glitch. I don't know if there was a surge or something, whatever it is, but anyway, just like I did in the thing, with a big shout out to the Magic 10. That's right, the Magic 10, the Patreons. I'm talking Russell Frost, No Code Drinker, Tom Burson, Tom Clark, Aztec Market Mark, Constable 1976, Mitchell Schoen, Cody Cahoe, and of course Daniel Meller, who are the Patreons. If you want to join that illustrious 10 and become 11, there is a link down below. It is patreon.com/Roverseas. Especially in times like these, patrons are a must-need at this moment to kind of keep the channel moving in the right direction. Obviously, there's no predictions to talk about, so we are plucking things out of thin air, just like this. So big respect to those guys. If you want to check out the Patreon, there is the link down there, and I'll show you what we're all talking about. There are 3 tiers of support that you could very well explore. Anyway, let's jump into the thick of things, and I am a little bit more prepared this time, and I've also got the beauty of the editor standing by. We're going to start with take a look at this fella, Huddersfield's number 1. That is right. What's his name? It's where are you? Camille Grabara. That's right. Fought off competition to become number 1. He's on loan from Liverpool, I believe. He's played 28 games. And actually just having the 5 clean sheets along the way, which is actually quite low. It's 4th worst in the championship, within the top 24 anyway. His pass distribution is 56%, which ranks him 11th, and he's also got 61 saves out of those 30 odd games that he's played. Sorry, 28 games. So that ranks him in 16th in the table. So he might be a good keeper for the future, but right here, right now, he's an absolute mare, and I'm actually putting him at League One standard. But don't get me wrong, I think this guy's got a lot of potential ahead. He's still young. He's got quite a few years ahead of you, because goalkeepers, they don't reach their peak until they're about 32, 33, something like that. So we've got a long way ahead, and I think this is going to be a learning curve. And I think if they were to do a redo this season with the Huddersfield manager from start to finish, I think they'll do much better. And again, I think Grabara would do much better between the sticks as well. Next up, we have Sheffield Wednesday's number 1. It is Cameron Dawson. Yes, he didn't start as number 1. It was Kieran Westwood who was number 1. I do rate Kieran Westwood highly, and I don't really know much to talk about this fella, Cameron Dawson. He actually played 24 games this season, which ranks him 18th at the respective teams here that we're looking at. And out of those 24 games, he had 7 clean sheets, which puts him 15th in the table, and just 52 saves, which is very, very low. That's 21st in the table. I do rate him a little bit higher than I do Grabara, but not much. I'm actually clutching at straws here, and I'm actually sitting on the fence with young Dawson to either go League One or Championship at best. I'm probably going to side with League One again. I think I'm just going to go. When I look at the numbers and I look at the statistics and all that, it just doesn't paint for a pretty season. But again, he is young, and to come through and become Sheffield Wednesday's number 1, beating the likes of Kieran Westwood, you know what, he's got to have some talent about him, because I would take Kieran Westwood as a Blackburn Rovers number 1 next season, and I'd even take this next fella, and that is Bristol City's Daniel Bentley. That's right. Again, Bristol City are blessed with a couple of good keepers, but Bentley has shone through this season, playing 35 games, keeping 10 clean sheets along the way. That ranks him in the top 10, in fact 8th overall in the clean sheet department. He actually made 54% pass distribution distribution. That's when he kicks it out. He's made 110 saves. That's 4th in the championship. He doesn't get the rave reviews as a lot of other keepers, like your David Rayas, like your Kiko Casillas, and all the Roddicks and the Sambas and all that kind of good stuff. But he just does enough to keep his team in the mix. They're just outside the playoffs at the moment, and I'd gobble him up. I'd bite your hand off for this guy as number 1. Yeah, you could swing him and put him into upper championship, but I think realistically he is a championship at best goalkeeper. He might not steal the headlines, but he does what it says on the tin. He's a goalkeeper, safe pair of hands, and I'll take him any day of the week. One keeper who was sought after in the summer was this fella, Simon Sluga. Derby County was sniffing around for him, but he opted to go for the newly promoted Luton Town. That's right, and they are struggling at the moment. I think they're 23rd in the table, and this fella's actually, he's had a bit of a hard fight to get to the number 1 jersey, but he seems to be comfortably now at number 1. 24 games this season, just the 3 clean sheets along the way, which ranks him 22nd in the rankings, which is not good. He's made 61 saves in those 24 games, which is not that great, to be honest with you. You'd expect a much higher count considering where they are in the league. So he must have let in a whole bunch of goals. So that ranks him 17th in the save department. His pass distribution is top half with 12, but you're not really going to get pushed further up the categories for your kicking distribution. So to be honest with you, he's had a nightmare season. He's had a Burnley-esque season, really. But don't get me wrong, he's an international goalkeeper. I think he's 3rd choice at the moment for his country. He's there or thereabouts, and I think if he'd gone to Derby, he'd be pushing more along the lines for a starting jersey, but it's still got a long way to go before he's in that echelon. So a nightmare season, and again, if Luton Town, which it does look like they're going to probably go down to League One, he could have a good season next season if he sticks around with them and then brings them back up at the first time of asking. But right here, right now, Sluga has had an absolute mare. Next up, we've got Sam Johnston. He's not had an absolute mare. He's had an absolute flyer. He's played 37 games, which ranks him joint top on the table, along with a whole host of other goalkeepers. Actually made 10 clean sheets, which is in the top 7 in the division. He made 99 saves, which is also in the top 7 within the division. He's actually pretty dang good, and I rate him very highly. He's of a good age as well, and he's been around a bit. And he's definitely right where he belongs in an upper championship side. And you never know, if he keeps his nose clean, he'll be into the Premier League next season, and he can try and compete with the big boys there. So no questions asked. Sam Johnson remains upper championship. Next up, a keeper who's done very well recently, and that is Raphael. Yeah, not the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. No, it's the goalkeeper on loan from Arsenal, I believe. He's now on Reading's books for the season anyway. And again, he's had to duke it out for the top jersey. 35 games this season, which is joint 11th. He made 10 clean sheets in those 35 games, so that's one every 3.5 games he'll knock out a clean sheet. He's actually made 121 saves. That is 2nd, so that's tip top for Raphael. He's actually doing very well for me, not for me, for Reading. He's actually doing very well, and it's actually keeping him in the mix for a good, strong end to the season. They did have a bit of a nightmare season at the start, but now they actually seem to be doing very well in mid-table, and that's probably where he's going to be in the moment. He's going to stick at a mid-table championship at best for now. And again, he is young. He's on the books of an upper of a Power 6 Premier League side, and they must see something in him. And I think give a couple more seasons, and he will be probably a Premier League keeper. But right now, I think you got to categorise him as a middle of the road championship at best keeper. He's where he should be at the moment, but he is proving the doubters wrong with making the saves, which is top 2 in the division. Next up, we have not this fella. We've already talked about them, so he's gone. We're talking about Roddak. Yeah, from Fulham, Marek Roddak went out on loan, according to the guys on the chat who were attempting to watch this video with me earlier. He actually went on loan with Rotherham for a couple of seasons and did himself no disjustice there. And now he's forced himself as Fulham number 1, making 24 games. It's been a hard fought for him, which ranks him 17th within the division. He's actually keeping 9 clean sheets in this 24 games. That's pretty good. It's getting close to around about half. 1 every 2. He made 74 saves, which puts him ranked 12th. And again, you've got to bear in mind that a lot of the players that ranked higher than him in the save department have actually played probably 10, 12, maybe even 13 more games than he has. So he's pulled off a considerable, right amount of saves. And I think that those seasons on loan have pushed him to right where he belongs, which is upper championship. You could push him a little bit further into Premier League quality, but I think that would be a bit harsh on some of the players, some of the goalkeepers that are in, without a doubt, in the Premier League quality. So he's not there yet. He's just about where he needs to be. Next up, we have the confusing matter. That is Lee Camp. Yes, Birmingham were written off earlier in the season, and then they went on a nice little unbeaten run from January, which has suddenly come to a crashing halt. But where would you stick Lee Camp in amongst all those things? He's played 27 games. Again, he had a bit of a competition to try and get the #1 jersey. 6 clean sheets in the 27 games. That's not good. That ranks him 19th in the division. He's actually made 58 saves. That's basically 1 every 2 games. 2 every game. He'll make 2 saves every game, so that's pretty low brow, if I'm honest with you. And again, he's been around the block a little bit, Lee Camp. And I'm not the biggest fan anymore. 5 years ago, if you were to ask if I would take Lee Camp as my #1 next season, I'd say stick it up your arse. I'll go with Andrew Fisher, our youngster. No, quite. I'm sticking out League One. He's probably even worse than that, to be honest with you. I'll push him further down to Burnley, but I'm going to be a little bit gracious with him and stick him just because I've got a bit of respect for him for being around a while. He's been there, seen it, and done it, but. This is the aging League Camp, and it's not the spring-footed League Camp. Next up, we have what's his name? Kiko Casilla from Leeds. Now, this guy is a decent goalkeeper, no question. And Leeds pulled a rabbit out of the hat when they got him to come swap La Liga for the Championship, and he's doing very, very well for himself. He's actually got 15 clean sheets, which makes him #1, and his pass distribution is 80%. So whenever he kicks it out, 80% of the target, it reaches where it needs to be. So yeah, there's no question he is Premier League quality. Will he be Premier League quality if Leeds get promoted, or when they get promoted? I'm pretty sure it's when they get promoted now. They look very, very good. Will he be #1 next season in the Premier League? Is he that good enough to maintain a jersey in the Premier League? It's a question we're going to have to. It's a question that will probably get answered not too far away, so bear with us and we'll find out next season. But for me, Casilla right now is Premier League quality, probably one of the top 2 or 3 goalkeepers within the division. Next up is not this fella. We already talked. Well, it should be. Yeah, we did talk about someone else. He's gone. So's Wildsmith. You're gone. Lumley, he is definitely not Premier League quality. He's had a nightmare, Joe Lumley. 21 games this season, and he's actually just kept 2 clean sheets. Absolute nightmare. His saves, just 47 saves in those 21 games. So he's been an absolute chocolate fireguard, useless, defenceless. And I'm not even going to waste my breath talking about it. I'm going to stick him in the Burnley category alongside Sluga. He's that gash. One player who is pretty tip-top quality, ability-wise, but he's just had a bit of a nightmare season, and that's going to dampen his market value. And that is Jack Butland. Obviously, 18 months ago, a lot of Premier League clubs would bite your hand off to take Jack Butland, but the price Stoke were quoting was absolutely crazy money. It's like 15-20 million, something like that, for Jack Butland. I don't think you can get that for him now. Obviously, Stoke's season's been a bit of a write-off. So yeah, he's not up there anymore. He's not under the top echelons. He needs a good 18 months to get himself back into consideration and again back into the spotlight. And I think with Stoke, he's not going to do that. Again, Stoke's season's been a bit woeful. He's played 30 games. Jack Butland's just 8 clean sheets, which ranks him 12th. And just 61 saves. That ranks him 18th in the thing. So for seasons wise, I'm going to leave him right smack dab in the middle. But we do know his ability. It is definitely upper championship. So I'm actually going to move him up a bit. So performance-wise, championship at best, but ability is upper championship. Next up, we have George Long, who's been very, very busy. In fact, too busy. He's 37 games, just 97 saves, which ranks him in the top 10 and 9th to be precise. 7 clean sheets in those 37 games, which ranks him in 14th, just under half. But the table doesn't lie, and Hull are on free fall. It's not all down to him. It's probably down, to the managerial situation, the defensive situation, morale. Everything's taken a big of a knock at Hull City. And to be honest with you, we can't pull the finger just at this fella, but. Standards don't lie, the rankings don't lie, and realistically he's battling to remain in this division, and I think he's going to have a tough old boot, a tough old competition to stay there. So I think he will be League One next season, and I think that's probably his standard, if we're completely honest with you. Next up, Freddie Woodman. I do like Freddie Woodman. Very, very good young keeper. 37 games, again, that's joined top with the big boys. 11 clean sheets along the way. That ranks him 6th. His pass accuracy is tip-top, 71% pass accuracy. That is second behind Kiko Casilla, and his saves is 99 saves, which ranks him 6th. So he is a good keeper. The stats don't lie. The table doesn't lie as well. Swansea are battling as well. He is on loan from Newcastle. You would kind of straddle him right here between these two things, but he's playing above that standard right now, and I'm going to push him in upper championship. Obviously, you look at FIFA's ranking of 67. That is, when you look at him comparing alongside Butland and Roddick, he's batting above his weight, or battling above the numbers anyway, but he definitely deserves it, and they're up there in due measure. Next up is Dylan Phillips, a keeper who's also been very, very busy, too busy in fact. 37 games, just 6 clean sheets, 120 saves. That makes him the busiest goalkeeper in the division. So you've got to give him a bit of credit for that, but realistically, again, Charlton are in that relegation dogfight, and he's going to be playing League One. And because of the amount of goals they've shipped, be it defence, be it managerial, be it tactics, be it goalkeeper, the stats don't lie, and Phillips will be a League One goalkeeper next season. I'm pretty sure of it, and that's why the standard that he's at, and that's his ability is at. Could you stick a Dylan Phillips in a Leeds team and they would do very well? No, I don't think so. I think they would still struggle, and they would not be where they are in the table if Phillips was between 6. That's my kind of look into it. Next up, though, this is an interesting one. It is Declan Rudd for Preston North End. Now, this is, if there was ever a middle-of-the-road goalkeeper, this is it. Declan Rudd's played 37 games. He's got just 7 clean sheets, which ranks him 13th. His pass distribution is 49%, and he's only made 94 saves along the way. That ranks him 10th. But Preston North End are in the playoffs. They're in 6th spot. He's played pretty much all the games on offer, so you know he's done just enough. But he does belong here. I think he's not that good a goalkeeper, but because of his performances, you know, Preston are there or thereabouts in the playoff discussion, and you know what, he could be a Premier League keeper next season. But I cannot see him battling above this. If Preston were to get very lucky and get themselves in the Premier League via the playoffs, they will be replacing their goalkeeper, no question. Rudd will not be the number 1. He will be backup. They would have to invest. Maybe they want to invest in this guy. That's right, ex-Blackburn Rover. And very sad to see him leaving the summer. David Raya, and boy, oh boy, he's gone on to have a cracking season. 37 games for Brentford, 11 clean sheets, which is pretty good for yourself, don't you think? His pass distribution has increased dramatically. He's actually 3rd best within the division. 70% of all his kickouts reached the intended targets. 85 saves for David Raya, which ranks him 11th. So really, he's bubbling. I am looking at this with blue and white tinted glasses. are struggling right there. Obviously, Brentford are competing at an upper championship standard, but I don't think he's there yet. I do rate him highly, and I'd rather have him as number 1 than Christian Walton. Or would I? We'll digest that in just a second. But he's definitely competing amongst the big boys, and he could be a Premier League goalkeeper next season. And again, would Brentford trust David Raya to be the number 1 if they were to get promoted? I don't think so. I think they would want to get an extra pair of hands, or another pair of hands to be competitive with David Raya. And they do have some good backup options at Brentford. But right now, I think he's championship at best. But let's take a look at it again in 12 months' time. Next up, we have a veteran between the sticks at Wigan. It's David Marshall. Played 30 games this season, 9 clean sheets, 65 save, which ranks him 14th in the save department, 10th in the clean sheet department. He's a good keeper, but he's in the League Camp Ascot era. He's been around a while, and we'll be probably looking at this sort of standard. He ain't going to get much better, even though goalkeepers do tend to develop longer and reach their peak later. I'm actually, what have I done here? I'm actually gonna I'm gonna push him. He's a good, solid pair of hands. And to be honest with you, if you were looking for an experienced goalkeeper of his age or greater, you would definitely want to consider David Marshall. He's a good pair of hands, and he's keeping Wigan in the mix and keeping them out of the relegation zone. So despite my angst towards Wigan, I think he's an okay pair of hands. Is he better than David Raya? Probably not. I'll take Raya over Marshall, no question. The Raya decision is I just think he's a little bit too inexperienced. Next up, we have Christian Walton, and he's been an absolute breath of fresh air for Rovers. The only regret for me is that we haven't got him on a permanent basis. He's up there with the clean sheet department. He's making 12 clean sheets, which ranks him second in the rankings, and his saves is 5th. He's made 102 saves, so this guy is a good goalkeeper. Can we keep a hold of him next season? Probably not. Can we buy him on a permanent basis? Heck no, the money is too great. But he's definitely up there, upper championship. Are we upper championship? I don't know. As much as I want to say yes, it would just, I'd look a little bit blue and white with that one. I'm trying to speak on a neutral basis, but you know, he has dragged us up a couple of levels above David Raya at this instance. Well, the stats don't lie. The clean sheets and the saves are up there, and without him, I think we would be much worse in the old pecking order, in the old promotion stakes. Next up, I'll get into the back end of it. We have Bryce Zamba. Now, I do like this goalkeeper, and I did pick him up on my old Sunderland game save on the old FIFA. I rate him very, very much. He's actually got 12 clean sheets, which puts him third, just behind Christian Walton. He's made 99 saves. For me, he ranks up there with Casilla as one of the best goalkeepers in the division. He's flamboyant as well. He's got all the ticks in the boxes, and if Forest don't go up, I think they'll have trouble keeping hold of him next season. And Barnsley, they have Bradley Collins. He's been very, very busy as well towards the foot of the table, but they're struggling, and he's not making that many saves. He's only played 19 games though, 4 clean sheets. He's had a bit of a competition to get the #1 jersey, but I'm honest with you, I don't think he's that good, so I'm going to stick him in the old Burnley pile. Next up, we have Derby's Ben Hamer, 18 games for him, just the 3 clean sheets, 48 saves, which ranks him 23rd. Again, you got to look into comparing him to other goalkeepers that have played much, much more games than he has. But I've not been impressed with him whatsoever, and I'm going to rake him down here in the lower echelons of some of the worst goalkeeping in the division. Next up, we have I've been very, very surprised with this guy, and his name is Bartosz Blakowski, the former Ipswich goalkeeper, now in the books of Millwall. We were linked with him as well, and I would have loved to have had him within the club at Blackburn Rovers. He's a Polish goalkeeper, so obviously not Polish #1 because they've got Szczesny and they've got some other ones out there, but he's definitely of a decent ilk. I think he was Player of the Year for Ipswich for 2 or 3 seasons back to back. Then he had a bit of a nightmare season, and again, with them getting relegated, he just decided to move on. And he had a bit of a competition to fight off the #1 jersey at Millwall, but he made it his own. 11 clean sheets, which ranks him 5th. 112 saves along the way, makes him 3rd. This kid is battling above his weight. He's better than his club deserves. I think he should be playing for a team in the top 6, and Millwall are just about there. So he's actually done absolute bits for them and put them in the conversation. So I rank him very highly, and it won't be too long. He's getting on a bit though. He's getting on a bit, but he's definitely one of my top 6, top 8 goalkeepers within the division. Then we have young Middlesbrough goalkeeper Ainsley Pearce. Obviously had to come in for Randolph. Played 22 games so far, 7 clean sheets. It's not too bad. It's not all doom and gloom, but he's still very, very raw, very, very young, and I think we'll see him prosper in the next year or so, unless Middlesbrough decide to go elsewhere. And then we have a look at Cardiff's Alex Smithies, 21 games again. He had a bit of competition. Of course, they have Neil Etheridge, who I really like as a goalkeeper. Again, he could have gone to Aston Villa at the start of the season, Etheridge, but Smithies had to stand in for Etheridge, and I don't know who's currently #1. Has it gone back in favour of Etheridge, or has Smithies taken over the reins? But he has got the higher game count. He's got 21 games, 7 clean sheets, 49 saves. A lot of his stats though are lowbrow, so it's quite surprising to see Cardiff do so well for Smithies, and I'm going to rank him at League 1 at best. In fact, it's probably a lie. I'll probably stick with no, his performance says League 1. So that, my friends, is how I rank the Championship goalkeepers. Just 2, I think, are Premier League quality. Then you have a 6-way battle in the Upper Championship, and then we have the rest of the crop. Championship at best, League 1, and then there's a few down the best, scraping the barrel, League 1 and Burnley. So that's my picks. I did ask you guys to take a little vote for your goalkeepers. I have some straw polls for all of these tier maker videos. So for tomorrow, we're going to take a look at the fullbacks. There is time for you guys to get the votes in still to have your say. But this is what I think. This is what the votes for the public vote show. So if I can get onto it, we're going to take a closer look at it, shall we? There we go. So you guys voted a little bit along the same lines. You went for Casilla and Samba as Premier League quality. You also went with Butland. You got Johnston, Roddick, Woodman, David Raya and Walton at the upper championship. And you had more guys in the championship at best with Raphael, Rudd, Marshall, Collins and Blakowski. Smithy was in there as well. Then you went with Mayimpa. Did include Mayimpa, Losel and Wildsmith in the vote, which was wrong. Long, Phillips, Hamer and Piers. And then down the bottom there, the scraping the barrel, you had Slugger, Camp, and Lumley. So that is my picks for the championship goalkeepers. We're going to take a look at the fullbacks tomorrow, so make sure you get there. We're going to have another crack at the live show, so hopefully you can stop by and watch that. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please smash the thumbs up. If you're new, smash the subscribe. New videos every single day on the channel, whether it is live streams, whether it is Football Manager. Make sure you check that Football Manager out. It's going to be a bit of a hoot. We've also got the FIFA and also some other product reviews. We've got to keep ourselves busy while the football is on a bit of a weird old break. Anyway, until then, folks, be sure to bang the thumbs up, bang the subscribe. Check out the description, links to my other social media platforms, including the Patreon. If you want to become a patron, it is in dire straits right now. It could do with your support because of the lack of football predictions and all that kind of stuff. The content is a little bit weird and the views are taking a little bit of a hit. So any support you can offer that way would be absolutely great. But if you can't, don't worry about it. Anyway, until then, I'm going to let you get out of here. Bang the thumbs up, bang subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow with a live one. Until then, we're out. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.